So just like anything, we need a nice workflow for elevator pits, okay? And in this case, I can't really use the previous model that we were using because that's like a residential project. And who has an elevator in their house? Well, it's a different story. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go through the workflow. Very first thing we do is we model the elevator pit walls, okay? Because when it comes time to modeling the elevator pit floor, we already know the default tool that floors need, walls. So let's go to structure, the wall drop down, and hit wall structural. If I go to my properties, I have already created the cast in place elevator pit wall that is 12 inches wide, or 12 inches wide. And on this options bar, I want it to go down by 5 feet. Usually an architect will tell you how deep the pit's going to be, but for the training, we will assume 5 feet. I'll go with the rectangle, and let's just place these elevator pit walls. Okay, so that is step 1. Step 2 is modeling the elevator pit floor. So let's go through that. Structure, floor drop down, floor structural. Now remember, the default tool for floors is pick walls. So let's hover over the outside face, tab until that whole link of walls highlights, and click to place. Why do I say the outside? Let's think about construction for a second. Since in most cases the elevator pit, that concrete floor, is the deepest part of the building, it's the first thing to get poured. And these elevator pit walls, they pour over, they need to sit on that floor. So that's why that pit line, that sketch, goes to the outside, okay? Now before I hit finish sketch with this green checkbox, I want to make sure that my height is set, my offset. Go ahead and type in -6 for now. And let's hit finish. Alright, so if you model this on plan, you'll see that you got a little symbol there. You can delete it. That's a span direction. Now let's go back to our 3D view. So please close your level 1. Okay. So now let's take our 4 walls. Let's hover over a wall, tab till the link selects, and we can go over here and type in -6 and match the floor. However, we're in the business of making this model speak for itself, right? It's a live model. So on the ribbon, let's hit attach top base. And on our options bar, select base. And now all we do is select that elevator pit. And it clicked. So now you've established a relationship between the base of that wall and that floor, which means that this option is now grayed out. Revit is telling you that with the checkbox that these 4 walls are attached to that floor. So it doesn't matter what number we type in here, those walls don't move unless that floor moves. Okay, so that's let me go back and type -5 here. So that's a cool little thing to know. Now, when we modeled our floor, we made sure that we use the pick walls tool. So now, if we get an updated dimension or a size for this elevator pit, all we gotta do is update the location of our walls and our elevator pit slab follows. So all good things to keep in mind when you're doing elevator pits. Okay, so we went through modeling walls first, the elevator pit slab second, and then we attached the base of the walls to the top of the floor. So now let's take those 4 walls again, hover, tab, click, and let's attach, this time, the top of those walls to this floor. You saw that they came down, okay? Because let's think about sequencing. The elevator pit goes first, then the pit walls go second, and then the main floor slab pours over those pit walls, okay? So that is step 3. Step 4 is actually modeling the actual hole, the shaft. So let's go to Structure tab, the opening panel, and let's hit Shaft. If this is too grayed out, we can go to the Plan View. So let's go to Project Browser and let's go to Plan View. Okay, so there we go. You can see how our walls are hidden there below. On our Draw panel, we have a Pick Walls tool. So now we can pick walls, hover over the inside of the wall, hit tab until the chain of walls highlights, and click to place. All right, so far so good. Before we finish this sketch, go ahead and place a symbolic line. It's just a 2D line, and we're just gonna do a nice little X here. All right. So before I hit the green checkbox, I'm gonna go to my 3D view. There it is. Okay. I'm gonna check my properties for this shaft opening. You can see the default is just -1. It's gonna punch a hole through this floor, and we can just, you can go up to whatever level you know that you're going. And now we can hit finish. So there is our wall sketch. Okay. And that is the main workflow before you model walls above these. Please don't fall into the habit of doing 4 walls that extend from the elevator pit up to level 2. This main floor level is an important level. This floor pours over those elevator pit walls, and then more walls, if they're concrete, get poured from this level up to the next. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. So let's do that. Let's go to our project browser and let's do that in our level 1. Let's tile our windows just so we can see better. Okay, and now in here in our plan view, let's go to wall structural, and let's do the same thing. Let's model a rectangle. Remember, nothing changed because it remembers what we did last time, but instead of depth, we're going to select height. Revit wants you to set a top constraint here, so let's say we want to go to level 2 and just simply select the same lines. All right. Now let's hit escape twice, and in 3D you can hover over one wall, tab till they highlight, select, and you can go over the same workflow for attachments. Let's attach the bottom, the base, to this floor, and then you don't have to worry about anything else. Now, a nice little tip that you need to be mindful that exists is the locking tool. Right here, let's just say you were to receive a new change to this elevator dimension, the width and the size of it. You already know that by the way that we put this together, you will need to move the elevator pit wall. This wall is what governs the sketch of the elevator pit and the sketch of the shaft wall. But it won't move the wall above. To make that happen, you do an alignment. So let me select the wall above and the elevator pit wall below. So hit Control on your keyboard and select, and now let's isolate these elements, IE. And now over here on the inside face, we're going to do in align. So type in AL on your keyboard, AL, excuse me. Select the main one, and now select the top one. You can see that a lock button comes up. Now let's click on that lock button. All right. Let's see what happens when we move the elevator pit wall. Let me just drag it out. You see how everything moved now? So be mindful that that lock button exists. It works really well when we have a separate, a very isolated condition where all we have is this elevator pit existing like this. That lock button can get you in trouble when you have other walls that are linking into this elevator pit. So just be mindful that these tools exist, but when you use them properly, save your life.